I think I'm alive. All right, I know I'm alive. So my name is Adam Bigelsen, and I want to give you a little picture real quick, okay? You're on your motorcycle. You're taking a beautiful drive, and you drive right off a cliff, and you find yourself unable to move with your face in a puddle at the bottom of a cliff. What do you do? Good question. Let's tell you in a few minutes here what my friend Markus has done with this whole experience. My name is Adam Bigelsen. I am the son of Dr. Harvey Bigelsen, who was the author of the Arizona Homeopathic Medical Practice Act, a law that helped to legitimize homeopathy and holistic medicine in the United States. He also wrote the books Holographic Blood and Doctors Are More Harmful Than Germs. If you have not taken a look at those books, please do. They're available on Amazon. So what we've got going here today are the Blood Diaries. The Blood Diaries basically is an idea that I came up with having lived the life that I have lived. My father has done some amazing things in his life, and with the blood, we have met some amazing people and have some amazing stories. So I want to share these things with you. So today, my guest, Markus is awesome. Markus is a person that we've known for quite some time, was a client of ours, and actually, yeah, from that motorcycle crash, was paralyzed from the waist down. I'm not going to tell you his story. I want you to hear it in his words. I want to pull up this little video for just a moment, and I hope this one works for you. So hold on just a moment. I'm having some technical difficulties, by the way, with Markus, so he'll be in and out hopefully soon. So here we go. Take a look, and I'm going to hide myself.
So my name is Markus, and I'm a walking paraplegic. I was paralyzed from the waist down in a motorcycle accident in 1995 and diagnosed to never walk again. I burst fractured my L1 and T12 vertebrae, and I fractured my right femur in about 8 places. So I have 2 Harrington rods that stabilize my back, and I have a Stanley rod in my right leg. So I spent about 2 years confined to a wheelchair. I went out and bought myself leg braces and crutches to teach myself how to walk again. So I spent about 2 years in the leg braces and a couple more years on crutches. While I had the leg braces on, I fell and re-broke my right femur. So they had to take out the existing rod and put a new one in. So besides being paralyzed, I've also broke my leg twice. Today, I'm going to set the world record for walking paraplegic leg press. Watch me leg press a 1/4 ton 10 times after several neurosurgeons had diagnosed me to never walk again. Your life is your message to the world. Make sure it's an inspiring one.
Good focus here, Markus. Got it.
Come on. 9.
If you're strong enough to lift it and you're strong enough to put it on, you're strong enough to take it off. That's called proper gym etiquette. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, in life, dreams at first seem impossible. Then they seem improbable. Then, once we commit ourselves, they become inevitable.
All right, so I don't know what you guys think of that. That to me is pretty amazing. Looking at that motorcycle, wow. Let me get Markus on here, and hold on one moment. And it's coming on live. Mr. Marcus, there you are. How you doing today, man?
Hey, Adam.
Good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you.
I'm doing great. Yeah, good to be talking with you.
It was an ordeal getting us on here together, but all is well, so I'm thrilled.
Thanks, buddies. Thanks for
So,
sticking with me.
and I gotta apologize. How do you pronounce your last name?
Keicher.
Keicher. Okay, there
Yep.
we go.
Yep.
That's fun. So, Marcus,
Hey,
nice to
buddy.
meet you. Introduce you to my world today. So
Nice.
let's think. Where do we start with this whole experience? I brought you on because you had been a client of Dad's, and that was a part of your journey. So I guess let's go back to let's hear about your story, man. I mean, talk about what was going on in your life before things changed.
Well, my life was going great. I was 25 years old, and my career was just taking off. I was about to get married, and I worked hard and I enjoyed motorcycle riding, and I was enjoying, the canyons of above Boulder, Colorado, and went off a cliff, a 60-foot cliff at about, I don't know, 45, 50 miles an hour. And so, or faster actually. And so it wasn't a puddle I landed in. I landed in a creek after going through some trees and bouncing from the ground. So I think my story, there's a lot about my story, but the big thing is karma, like not only do I go off that cliff and live, but I bounce into a creek that is ice cold because it was in October in Colorado. Um, and if I hadn't landed in that cold water, I probably would not have regained my mobility because that cold water sent my body into hypothermic shock, and it kept my spinal cord from hemorrhaging and swelling really bad. So that kind of preserved my spinal cord. 6 years before that, I saved four people's lives one night from a frozen lake. And although I got a congressional award and a few other things, I look at it as karma. Like I saved those people's lives from the frozen water because I could and it was the right thing to do. That's how we should treat each other. And then 6 years later, my life was saved. Some guys found me in a similar and pulled me out of cold water. So I look deeper into it as in the karma. I get the karma out of it, treat others as we wish to be treated, the golden rule. So
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's great.
The golden rule is a big story. And then the healing, all the healing that I've experienced through my journey of regaining my mobility.
Yeah,
So
gotcha.
yeah.
It is really interesting as far as and actually if you lean a little bit to your left because you kind of lean out of the frame a little bit. Yeah, cool. That
Okay.
you had done something for someone else and then at some point the same thing was done for you. That's pretty interesting. And karma is something I believe in. It's one of those things though, you believe in it and you would love to see what comes around go around. But you do the right things for the right reasons and because that's who you are. And I think it's important, for people to pay attention to what they're thinking when they're doing things. Are we doing things because it's the right thing to do? Are we doing things because we think we might get something out of it? It's just an interesting way to
Well,
be
I didn't
present.
think I didn't think
Yeah.
I was getting anything out of it when I did it. I just wanted to help the people that no one else was helping, and so it was an action of pure heart. And I put aside the risk of my life to help save their lives with no real other intention of just doing that. And I think I set a frequency or an energy into this universe, into this experience where it kind of played it forward, it kind of came back my way. So,
Sure,
yeah,
definitely.
I think it's just really simple. Just treat others as you wish to be treated and, focus on that. Don't worry about how other people are treating others,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is
So,
interesting too because
karma.
it's well, and people focus a lot on things that they don't have a lot of influence over. I remember reading a book and they talk about the circle of concern and the circle of influence, and the idea of being concerned about so many things that you don't have a ton of influence over. So the thing is, there are things we can do, and it's what I think is interesting about your story. What's awesome is, especially right now, okay, people are down. People aren't feeling great in general, and it's a question of picking yourself up. Okay, so I get down and I think, oh, poor me, and everything sucks, blah 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 blah. But I haven't gone through what you've gone through. Okay, so the reality is, it's all relative. My life, okay, things are tough, but you gotta, as an individual, always pick yourself up. Tell me, as you were What was going through your mind as you're lying there at the bottom of this ravine type experience?
Well, that's a whole different thing. But, I think to answer the direction you were going in, for me, it's focusing on the blessings, because when things are challenging in our lives or the lives around us and it's bringing us down or whatever it's doing, for me, I always look at the blessings. And I think if you really truly look at this experience, and if you're going through a challenge and you stop investing in the negativity and switch the concept of looking for the blessings, like when I was paralyzed, that could nothing, in my mind could have been worse at that time. That's kind of the one thing you never want to have happen in your life, other than getting cancer and these different things. You never want to be paralyzed, and I did it to myself. And I figured, what could be worse? But when I went into rehab and I was, going through the challenges with quadriplegics, people who couldn't even breathe
Hmm.
on their own, and things of the traumatic head injuries, it helped me to step back and go, wait, look at the blessings of what's going on. And the more I focused on the blessings, the healthier I was as an individual. Because it's so easy of a slippery slope to feel sorry for yourself and look at the negative parts and the challenges of your life. Where if you step back and say, no, you know what? I'm healthy, I'm not dying, and I have a lot of positive things to look at. So I think it's about the blessings in the dark times, which we're facing right now, I think.
Sure, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And in the midst of dark times, oh, I like to think that there was a point in a lot of people's lives when things were dark and bleak and they didn't have a lot of hope, and somehow they found my father. And I've said this before. One of the things my father's work was really about was giving people hope. And he always said there's no such thing as false hope. So, I mean, I can't imagine being, in your situation, being in a spot where I can't move, icy water, there's hope might be 60 feet away. And you came through that and you kicked a lot of butt. I mean, world record even. So, question at this point then is when did my dad come into the picture? What did he play in your role experience?
He played a massive role in my experience. I was starting a body transformation when I was 39. I wasn't in great shape, but I wanted to be in the best shape I could when I was turning 40. So I committed to the gym and a training regiment, and I wanted to lose a lot of weight, get lean, gain muscle. And I was doing that, and I was still facing some of the neurological issues from the spinal cord injury. And there was a young man in our town, where in Nevada City, where Doctor's B office was. And I had met this young man and started mentoring him a little bit. And I noticed how he was actually getting a lot better, and he was seeing your father. And it really sparked an interest. And I figured, well, I could use some work around my spinal cord. So I went in, and I got to tell you, the first few visits was like walking into a Stanley Kubrick movie set. Well, come on, it's if you've never seen it, it's difficult to really explain. Even through the power of the internet, when you go in and you see your live blood, on a video screen, and you see your red blood cells and your white blood cells, and they're correcting issues by looking at the holographic figures inside your blood. It's truly like sci-fi. And so I
Yeah.
started working with Dr. B, and what I would say, and I thought about this before the interview. I would say that the work that in the short time, maybe 8 months or a year, I worked with your father, that it really did change the course of my life. I would say it changed the course. It definitely extended the well-being of who I am as a long-term approach, but in a short-term approach, it was magnanimous. Some of the results I saw.
Neat. Tell me this.
Truly magnanimous.
Nice. Well, and tell me, to get a little more details, because part of my show is as blood diaries, is telling people stories, and Dad's
Right.
stories growing up with him. I remember when I was younger, he would come home when we lived in Arizona and talk about this person came in with this, and I had recognized, issues, multiple sclerosis or things like this, and Dad's talking about, I tried this and we did this and I looked this up and we did this and the person, this is happening, and he was so excited, So when someone walks into this Stanley Kubrick movie,
Set.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see my dad, who looks like Albert Einstein.
Einstein, right? You're like,
Um,
what's
what's going on? Now, the thing is, though, you came to him because you saw some results with a friend of yours, right?
right?
So, and to me, that's a big deal. There's so many things we hear. If you get X, well, this is what's going to happen. And well, I believe everyone's different. So you get X, and there's a lot of different things that could possibly happen. Your friend went through some stuff, you saw change. And I think that's important for people listening. If you have friends that are going through stuff and you're seeing change, you might want to talk to them. I've got friends who don't get sick very often. Do you? Maybe
No,
you should.
I never get sick. But I
Yeah.
think I direct a lot of that to the kombucha. I think kombuchas are an essential part of good health. But
Nice. Well, and I want to ask you a little bit about that in a minute
Yeah.
or two. But back to the whole, office visit dad experience. When he's, he pulls up your blood and it looks like this whole galaxy and it's wild. And I know it's impressive. But he's telling you things. The things he's telling you, can you talk about what he's telling you, what you're hearing from him? Does it make sense with your condition? How is what he's seeing there connecting with what's going on with you?
Well, I feel I have reasonable intelligence, so I could sit there and look at the screen, and he could, obviously point out what your white blood cells are and your red blood cells, and the holographic things that you can't even imagine that are in your blood, and how those are signifying, some of the issues inside your body, or how strong are your red blood cells. I think the biggest thing for me in my recollection of looking at that screen of insanity and madness, because you can't believe it's your blood. You're like, this is my blood, right? This is my blood. You're like, really? Like,
Right
come on,
in
like,
my body.
where's the computer program, that's really doing this? It can't be my blood. But I think it was after because for a few months we were doing the neurotherapy, and then we switched to stem cells, pork cells, and I had been seeing my blood consistently for I think maybe 5 or 6 months, and then I remember about 3 weeks after introducing the stem cells, you could see the difference in my blood. I could see the difference in my blood, and your father pointed it out, and it was interesting because of all the different things that you could see in there. What came of the stem cells were these really bright little stars. That's all I can explain. It looked like stars everywhere. And I was like, Dr. B, I haven't seen those before. What are those? And he attributed them to the stem cells, which made sense to me.
Nice.
Now, there could be coincidence without correlation, but
Sure.
I'm positive that what I saw, and I also felt the change. And let me say that when I went into your father's office, I was looking to address some of the spinal cord the spinal cord injury,
Sure.
but that's a really advanced injury to treat. And we're getting there, but we went with the treatments. And I'll tell you, honestly, the one thing that happened to me is about a few months after the stem cells, about maybe a year into the treatments, I felt like I woke up. I felt like I was in a daze before, or in a haze. I was very forgetful. My vocabulary was hurting. There was just some concerns I was having about my memory and my thought process cleared up, and I've never had those problems since. So I definitely direct, that's a direct result of working with your father positively.
Nice. And it's interesting, because what you say is, when we look at the blood, we're seeing structural blockages, energetic blockages, emotional blockages. So you've got a structurally compromised body at this point.
You think?
And for people listening, it's like, okay, the bones get broken. We don't necessarily fix that. We've used a lot of stem cells and done things with bone cells, and we've had things regenerate very quickly and much quicker, which is great. But at this point, it's not like we're fixing that for you. However, we really can help to support your system. So structurally, you did surgery and you got pins and things like that. Okay. It's not the end of the world, which is awesome. Most people think that if they're going to get surgery, which we really discourage as much as possible, that's it. But you've got pins, you rebroke things. At this point, you're walking, you're doing even more than that.
Right? A lot more than it. Yeah. I'm going a long way.
Yeah, you're thriving. And the stem cell thing is interesting because we've worked with them a lot. I'm going to have to do a show on the stem cells at some point in time. But the idea that you get to look at your blood, dad has explanations, it makes sense. You're seeing your blood real time. Then he's doing treatments and looking at the blood again, and you're seeing the change and you're feeling the change. That to me is the bottom line. You felt change. And when you saw Dad, and he would do different things to you.
I mean, can I, just, it's not that I felt change. I
Mhm.
experienced a paradigm shift in my health.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there was a paradigm shift in my health. My mental capacity just went through the roof. I was feeling great. My pain levels were low. It was just a really, a positive life-changing event working with your father for sure.
Nice. That's cool. And as I talked to you about this too, you had a structural damage experience. So you come to my father, you go through a journey, you find Dad, and now all of a sudden the energetic, the emotional, the mental, the whole thing is changing. So, we keep talking about terrain, as opposed to the germ experience. Everything is interconnected. Now tell me, as your structure starts to improve, like you're in a wheelchair, let's go to that for a second. So
Oh, you're going to go way back to that point.
well,
Okay.
what's going on with you mentally? Because to hear a paradigm shift, and that's what I'm pushing for in general. People listening, and give me a like or something if you're hearing this stuff. Okay, is anyone out there? Say hello. Where are you at? It's a paradigm shift that people can work with terrain and their outer environment, their inner environment, change mental things, change physical things, and change their whole paradigm experience. I mean, I'm thrilled with what I've grown up with, and there's so many people stuck in a spot where things don't make sense. So let's go back though. What's going on with you? Yeah, mentally, as you're in a wheelchair at this point. I mean, physically you're down. Energetically, there's only so much you can do. So,
Well, at that point, it was, there was a lot of emotions. There was a lot going on. It's fight or flight at that point. I had the belief system that I was going to walk again. So I just took it on as a challenge. I had a strong conviction that I was going to walk again and I was going to do anything that I could do to walk again. And that's what I did. Don't get me wrong. There were times that I was in deep depression, and that's, I think, a challenging time. But for the most part, I just kept a positive attitude about it, And luckily, I had been an athlete before the accident, and I did a lot of body or muscular development, weight training. So I knew I had the fundamentals to get myself going again if I could get out of the wheelchair. And once I got out of the wheelchair and got onto crutches and the braces, I knew I was going to have, as near to a full recovery as I could. So just a positive attitude to get through it.
nice.
Yeah, focus on the positives. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with you since then. So at this point, you've gone through stuff, you're down, you're in a wheelchair, you come out the other end, you've got world record experience, which is amazing. And I know you were doing something with your RV. Tell us a little bit about your life right now.
Yeah, well, right now I'm a full-time RVer, which is, allows me to travel. I stay on the West Coast and, Arizona in the wintertime, Oregon, California in the summertime. So I'm just really enjoying that, the culture of the full-time RVing. I built my A-class to be fully self-contained. I've been in a spot now for 4 weeks and I haven't had to move because I have solar running everything and lots of water. So yeah,
Nice. Awesome. So you got a place, you're not
riding
surviving.
quads. Yeah,
Okay,
no, I'm not. No, I'm
you know,
thriving. I'm
you're
thriving.
thriving.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I always forget this part, but everywhere I go, I bring my quad. So I've really been going to some of the best OHV off-road riding places like the dunes in Oregon and fishing on the ocean. So no, I'm thriving. I'm having a great time.
Nice. I
I'm
just
having
brought
fun. Yeah,
brought your
yeah,
picture up there.
yeah. There you
Cool.
go.
Nice. You
Yeah.
got your dog too, so you got some good dog energy going, which is
Of
awesome.
course. No, no, I lost Marley. Marley passed a couple years ago, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, he was a great guy. He was a great guy. Right now, I wrote some stuff down. What's really helping me a lot is meditation. I found meditation, and that's kind of changed. Been a big paradigm change for me too. And let me step back a little bit farther, if I could, about your father. His treatments. They were costly, but they were worth it. And, I've been on a limited budget and I noticed that your father time and time and time and time again, really discounted his prices, or even sometimes doing it for free when he saw people. He never turned anyone down. He always
Yeah.
did everything he could to make sure anyone who walked through his door got treatments.
It's
And he gave
really,
me a great deal.
yeah, it's nice that you say that, and it's cool. Dad would always say he'd never turn someone away because of money. Well, in the end, we did have some money problems because of that.
Yeah,
So,
he did that a lot. Yeah.
well, and it's we believe in the barter system, and it's funny because
Right.
Josh at the end was trading people for like tamales and whiskey, and he was turning into a fat drunk.
Well, but I was doing his cars for him. I was
Oh
bartering.
yeah,
I was helping him with his cars.
yeah. There's always been an
Yeah.
exchange.
Yeah. But no,
Well,
your father really stretched the limits. And I think you saw that as you came in before the whole situation occurred, where you tried to put a little bit of a plug in it because it was, I think, a little out of control,
it
you
was,
know.
he would never turn someone away because of money. There was no way he would say to someone, "I'm sorry, you can't afford to live. I can't help
Right.
you." And that's one
Right.
reason he left the eye surgery experience, because he wasn't, someone came, they needed a surgery, they couldn't afford it, and it was such a minute experience for him, and he wanted to help. So I think that's awesome that you bring that up.
Yeah.
Dad, for people listening and people that knew him, feel free to pipe in here, anyone, and give us a comment. Did you meet my dad? What was he like with you? He really, really wanted to help people. And he got upset towards the end because, doctors weren't listening to him, scientists weren't listening to him, and he wanted to share stuff. The good thing is people like you listen to him, and then you're living a good life. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to help people. So let me ask you this then. For people that are listening, is having their blood checked out something that could be valuable to them?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that, it changed like I said, I don't know what else to say. It was a paradigm shift for me because it's like your father said, it was all written in the blood. He could just tell. He knew. He could see things in my blood and sit there and tell me things about myself, and I'm just like, how's that even possible? So I'm really excited and stoked to see that you and Josh are carrying on his legacy
Cool.
and teaching his work, because that was a devastating time for me when he got shut down.
Yeah.
But that happens. That's one of the things I think we talked about before. What did I learn from your father? I learned so much, but going through that experience, it's when, he was, I guess, am I allowed to use the word healing? Can I use that word?
Yes,
Is it?
because I can put it. Well, he's not here, so people want to
Yeah, yeah.
argue with him.
Because I think that was the problem. I think, what, if I could be really, upfront and honest,
Yeah, I
this
could.
country isn't based around healing people, and he was
Right,
healing people, He
right.
was there are a lot of people suffering from Lyme's, and his work with Lyme's was legendary, wasn't it? Like, I think
Oh,
his cure rate was like, I don't know, almost 100%.
what he would
Like,
say when people would ask is he would say, "I have a cure rate." And I mean, you can definitely talk to people, so many people. I mean, he worked with the producer of the one movie. There was a Lyme group here. He worked with 9 out of 10 of them got better. The one that didn't get better, the husband thought dad was crazy and wouldn't let her come back. Yeah, dad did stuff and he helped people. That's why I'm trying to do this now. And in these times, it's so interesting, Marcus, because people are so ready to attack anyone that has a different opinion. Okay. And I'm not here to talk about, virus stuff and 5Gs and all that kind of stuff. I'm here to share information about health that we have seen work firsthand for years. You know what I mean? You saw it. You've been through it. So this is why I'm doing these shows, to share with people. You are the source. You've been through it. Your life has changed. You're walking. You're thriving, and the paradigm has shifted for you. I just want to present information for people that are ready for this. So, people, if you're ready for the paradigm shift, we're here to help. Josh and I. We are on a mission. We educate and empower people so they can learn to take charge of their own healthcare. We'll be in Mexico soon. We do distance consultations also. They're all educational consultations. I want to help people as I feel what dad felt. The difference is dad was great because dad would say, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care. You're stupid. That's dumb, whatever. He was a fighter. I don't really want to fight with people, but I really need to share information. And I appreciate you helping share the information. You're a living example. So let me ask you one other thing too. You mentioned kombucha.
Kombucha, yeah.
Yes, if you were to give anyone in your mind, your experience, there's things that have helped you. Okay, so you're thriving now, which is great. Weightlifting was something for you. That was a big deal. And this is like a lifestyle. When you're doing weightlifting, it's mind, body, it's the whole package. You're working with structure, making sure you're okay there. You're working with diet and things like that. So my question is, what would you recommend from your experiences for people that are looking for stuff to help themselves, tools they can empower themselves? You can brew your own kombucha. I've done that. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I drink at least one every day. Diet is a huge one. Meditation, acupuncture. I think acupuncture, that was one of the difficult things to determine when I was going through my healing time with your father. Was I was also integrating a few other healing modalities, and one of them was acupuncture. And I got to rate acupuncture is 100%. Did you ever go to Tria Hill up in Nevada City?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, he's amazing. He's probably one of the most talented healers. He doesn't even call himself a healer, but he was always the healer to the healer in Nevada City. Like when all the other healers weren't doing well, they went to see Tria. So acupuncture, meditation, good diet.
Nice.
But I did want to go back a second, step back. For me, it was difficult to watch individuals like your father who are out there, in the forefront, cutting edge. And I'm going to say the word healing people. He was healing people. People came in. It wasn't a prolonged process where they just stayed sick forever. He was really helping people. And it was, now where are you? You're in Mexico. You know what I mean? Another one I was a big fan of was the Gersons. The Gersons were having a fantastic results treating cancers with juicing.
Right.
And what happened to them? They're down in Mexico now. They're down in Baja.
Sure.
So it seems like they kind of chase some of the healers out of this country.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad to see.
Like you said, there's people that get results. There's people that make money, and Dad made his money and he wanted to get results. So we got results, and he did. He yelled and screamed. He got chased out of the country. Mexico is beautiful. So, I'm easy there. For people listening, it sounds a little extreme to go there for health. We'll pick you up in San Diego and they'll drive you right across the border to the clinic, which is really nice. And I'm going to have someone on really soon who has been there recently. Sunshine Beck, I think Sunshine.
Yes, from Nevada City. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I do know Sunshine. Yeah.
She'll be on Saturday, and she was just down there recently. Go ahead. You got something else you want to add?
Yeah, I want to talk about the amp coil. You're familiar with the amp coil?
Yes, and it's interesting. Well, let me hold you for 1 second there.
Go ahead.
Amp coil is an interesting one, and we've experienced it a bit, and we would like to experience it more. There's so many different things out there for different people, and I appreciate people that share things. Just realize what works for you might not work for someone else. For people listening, because I've heard a lot of different things with amp coil. I've heard some great things. So tell me your experience a little bit with that.
Well, one of the reasons I bring it up is because when I was in Nevada City receiving treatments from your father, he was treating a lot of people with Lyme's, and he was doing it successfully. So it's clear that there's different modalities that will help treat Lyme's. And the amp coil was designed by a biotech engineer who is from Nevada City, that his whole family had Lyme's.
Yes. I remember hearing the story. Yeah. I remember hearing the story, definitely. So what Aaron and Genevieve, is that
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it basically, what it is it's a modified Tesla coil. And I know you're big into harmonics. That's what it does. It kind of retrains the body's harmonic frequencies. I've experienced the machine, and I wish I could afford one. Wow. And you know what? One of my best friends, Todd, he's an acquisition specialist with Amp Coil, and we're like brothers. We talk all the time. And the thing is they sell a ton of these and no one ever returns them. And
Yeah.
am I allowed to say healing? But these
Be
these
careful.
machine. I know, be careful, right? You're not
Yeah.
allowed to say that stuff.
Yes.
But they've had great results with Lyme's.
Well, and I'll tell you something interesting too. With Lyme's, at the end of Dad's book, Doctors Are More Harmful Than Germs, he had 96 different cases of Lyme's with 96 different causes.
Wow.
So, and something like that working for some people, awesome. There's so many different things out there. Frequency is the thing. With us, we've used Ava Julian's nature sounds, and we've seen scars break up. I've got Doc Stars, who's creating sounds from the stars, basically, and brainwave patterns are changing, and things are changing. Misha Kohayashi and the Emoto Peace Project, they're using the Hado machine. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Our thing is we always want to see blood before and after, and we want to see it multiple times. That's why when I say certain things very strongly, Dad, we have 60,000 images of blood in our database, and Dad did this for 40 years. And with Ana Maria Oliva, who I think is on here watching right now from Spain, we've been working on a verifications laboratory experience. So the idea of being able to do proof of concept for people. There's only a few labs in the world where people can take a theory concept and have it proved, okay? So the idea of doing amp coil, looking at blood, doing biowell, doing thermography, doing a bunch of different things before and after with a certain amount of people, and then you have some scientific validity. This is what I'm starting to do with the blood and other things, and I'm having a good time. This is where I think science is awesome. So I appreciate you bringing that up. For people out there, see what you can find, and it's a question of finding what works for you. That's important, okay? Just because it worked for your friend doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Atkins, like I said, Dad knew Atkins from the Atkins diet. Many people lost weight on that diet. A lot of people gained weight also. So with all that being said, Markus, I want to cut this one short because I want to keep them wanting a little more. We can have you on again at some point. I think you're awesome, and what you've been through is an amazing story. I'm going to share real quick. Here's your website, heroforall.org, if you want to go check out Markus's story in more detail and share it with people. If you know people that need to hear these things, please, please, please share the show. If you know people that are into terrain theory, please share this with them. I want to connect with as many people and terrain as possible. So Markus, your terrain, the structure of your terrain was altered, and you came back, man, and you're thriving.
Dr. B was the man. I loved it. It was such like a Stanley Kubrick movie. I gotta say that, like the video screens and your blood, and then your dad looking like Einstein. He's putting you in a hyperbaric chamber, and he's pumping CO in your ears. You're like, what's going on here? I'm getting better, so it's working great.
Nice,
yeah.
Awesome. Cool, Markus.
And hey, Adam, and much respect and great big love for you carrying on your father's work too. So
thank you.
Big props and much respect for that too. So thanks for having me on your show.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. It hasn't been an easy life for us, to say the least, but we love what we do, and we love these stories. This is what I need to hear, and there's a lot of people that need to hear these stories too. So thank you, Markus, for sharing this. People out there listening, go check out Dad's book. Go check out Markus's website. Come to our website, thebigelsenmethod.com, which I should probably put up here, and order a consultation. We'll see if we can educate you a little bit, and we'll see what's going on in your blood.
I'm gonna have to come down to Mexico and see you, buddy. Yeah.
That was my last question. Are we going to see you in Mexico? Yeah.
You will, buddy. Yes.
All right. I cannot wait, man. Markus.
All right, brother.
Rock and roll.
Be well. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. And for everyone else out there, I'm going to let Markus go real quick. Cool. Everyone else out there, thank you for paying attention. Please, please, please share my show. As I share all this interesting information, Facebook is an interesting place. People that I've grown up with, if you like this, let me know. I'm losing a few friends, because I'm sharing information they don't understand and agree with and all that kind of stuff. So I need to make some new friends. So you want to be my friend? Share this. I look forward to talking to you more and more, and have yourself an awesome day. All right. Be well. Enjoy your life. See you next time.